SCP-4595 is called Witch. When I think of witches, I mean, we just passed Halloween. I don't know if it's gonna be about a witch like that flies on a broom. Maybe something like a Salem witch or witchcraft. We're gonna check it out, guys. This one's by Dr. Bob. Make sure to subscribe. Subscribe to me if you like reaction videos too. And let's get into this one.
All he could see were glimpses, flashes of movement, but he could clearly make out that there was a girl. He could see the man walk up behind her and slip a bag
Young
over
girl,
her head.
all in black?
There was a struggle.
Maybe it is
a body
something
being
like
dragged through
witchcraft.
the dark, and then the sound of a shovel.
I mean, I wear
scraping
black all
against
the time,
hard
too.
dirt.
I'm not a witch,
The body
guys.
is thrown into the shallow hole, and as the dirt begins to rain down on her face, her eye opens up.
Uh-oh.
The boy's eyes open too, and he sits up with a
Good
panicked
boy.
jolt. Shaking
Bad
and
dream?
covered in sweat, he looks around his dark room and realizes that it was only a dream.
Uh-huh.
The entire morning as the boy gets ready,
Dreaming about
rides
some
the
bad
bus,
stuff, huh?
and sits through school, all he can think about is the dream
Yeah.
and the girl.
Those dreams could really
A group of
mess with you,
teenage
man.
girls are out for a ride in one of their father's sports car convertible. They're having
Nice.
too much fun and driving much too fast down the dark country roads. It doesn't take much. It never does. Just the shadow of
A
an
deer.
animal bolting across the road, but it's enough to make the driver jerk the wheel, causing the car to lose control.
Not
All of
good.
the girls scream, but
Wow.
none more than the one who is tossed from the sliding, spinning car.
Oh, it's the girl
Girls
from the
stand
dream.
around their dead friend and make a solemn pact. No one here will ever know that she was with them.
Dang.
But what will they do with her? One of them points towards the woods, and everyone turns to look at the dilapidated shed.
Wow.
As the girls, now dirty from their long night of digging and then filling a hole, emerge from the shed into the dim morning light, none of them are
They
aware
buried
that beneath the
their
dirt, the girl is still breathing. The boy gasps for air and struggles in the dark.
He
but
keeps
throws the
having these
blankets off of him
dreams.
before realizing that he is safe in his own bed. Another breakfast, another ride to school, another day of classes where
He's
the boy
gotta
can
go
think of
looking
nothing
for
but
her.
the girl from his dreams. Who is she? He's never seen her in his life, he's sure.
Right.
But then why does she keep appearing in his dreams?
Exactly.
The boy is snapped out of his deep train of thought by the
Pay
teacher
attention,
slapping
bruh.
his desk, and he apologizes before focusing on his
Poor
studies once
thing.
again. The look on the woman's face is a mix of sadness and annoyance. She doesn't know how much longer she can go on like this. It never stops. How can someone cough so much?
Huh?
The woman sits in her chair and tries to push away the same thought that comes to her over and over, that it would be better for both of them if it would just end. The girl
What?
coughs loudly in her bed. The disease has ravaged her lungs, and it takes all of her willpower not to scratch at the burning, itching sores on her face and chest.
Oh, poor
She looks
thing.
towards the door with dazed eyes and sees her mother enter the room. She's carrying a tray with soup,
Oh,
just like she
no.
always does at this time, even though she has no
Poisoned?
appetite at all. As her mother gets closer, she can see that the tray is empty, and it isn't a tray.
It's
in
a
her
pillow.
hands. It's a pillow.
Oh,
The girl can
no.
barely muster a scream as the woman places the pillow over her daughter's face.
Man. So
As
these
the
are
mother
all
walks out
different
of the old
ways.
shed in the backyard and towards the house, she stops for a moment. Can she hear the sound of coughing coming from the shed? That morning at breakfast, the boy's father tells him in no uncertain terms that he doesn't want to hear any more about the girl. It's just a dream, and he needs to put it out of his mind.
The boy keeps
What
having
needs to be
dreams about
focusing
different
on is
ways she's
school.
been.
The note from
Killed?
his teacher said that he isn't paying attention in class.
Same
and if
girl?
that keeps up, he's going to have much bigger problems. The boy
Right.
promises no more about the girl. As the boy stares out the bus window, it isn't his fault that thoughts about his dream rush into his head,
Right.
because as the bus drives along the country roads, he catches a glimpse of something down a long, tree-covered driveway.
That same
It's
house?
the house from his dream.
Yeah.
The shed door opens with a creak, allowing a sliver of light from the full moon to
He
fall
has to go
inside.
check it out.
The boy enters the shed as quietly as he can and goes inside. He soon emerges with his bike and a shovel strapped to his back before riding away from his own backyard into the night. The
Yeah.
boy stops his bike at the
He's
bottom
gonna
of the
go dig
driveway
it up to
leading
find
to
out.
the old abandoned house. He rides up the drive and doesn't even consider stopping at the house.
Right.
His destination is somewhere else.
It's in the back
The
shed.
boy lets his bike fall to the ground in the backyard and stares at it.
Okay.
It's the shed he's seen so many
it says
times before,
witch
despite never seeing it
on
in
the
person.
door.
It's dark and quiet, the shed silhouetted against the large, bright moon. He approaches the only door on the small shed and
Mhm.
reaches for the handle. It opens with a loud, rusty squeak. The boy takes out a flashlight and turns it on.
It's just a little
illuminating the
shed, huh?
shed's interior.
Yeah.
Inside is nothing except for a wooden bench sitting on the dirt floor.
And
But wait, there is something
fresh
else.
dirt.
a spot on the ground appears different, blackened, almost as if it were burned. This is the spot, though. This is the place the boy keeps seeing in his dreams.
You had to dream
He
about
knows
it.
She's down there.
You know you gotta do it, bruh.
The boy thrusts
No way,
his
I'm
shovel
doing
down
it.
into the dirt, but it doesn't even scratch the surface. The
Wow.
ground is cold and hard.
It's very
He
hard.
strikes down again, and the shovel pierces into the dirt.
Finally.
The shovel suddenly falls to the ground, though, as the boy begins to cough. He
Stank?
drops to his knees as the coughing becomes a fit. He can't stop, and now he can't breathe.
Oh,
It
no.
feels like his throat is filling with something. He falls to the ground, still coughing as he feels whatever is filling his throat and lungs moving and vibrating.
Ugh.
The final great hacking cough, he unleashes a swarm of creatures from his mouth.
Oh, my
He lies in
God.
the dirt, struggling but unable to get any
That's
air,
some-
as the buzz
that's
of
like the
thousands
supernatural.
of locusts drowns out his final noises. It's no
witch
surprise
got
that what
him.
this young man ran into wasn't a dream at all, but
Right.
an interaction with an anomaly that has since been classified as SCP-4595.
Very, very cool.
But also has the
And
quite
creepy.
simple and appropriate name of Witch.
Yeah.
SCP-4595 is the designation given to a small room located inside of a woodshed that is itself
actually
found
a
behind a
room.
home near the town of Jasper,
Not
Indiana.
the girl.
The house appears to have been abandoned for some time,
Right.
and there are no reliable records of who the home's most recent or original owners were.
Okay.
The only item inside the woodshed is a simple, rough-hewn wooden bench, though at the time of the anomaly's discovery, 2 other objects were found as well.
Which
The
were?
first was a small shovel,
shovel?
the type that might be used for gardening. The shovel appears to be ordinary in every way,
Sure.
except for the very tip,
Blood?
which has what looks to be a blood stain on it, though tests have been unable to retrieve any genetic material from the discoloration.
All right.
The second object was a small
A
human
whole
skeleton. The body of the deceased person was removed from the woodshed, and an autopsy revealed that it had belonged to an adolescent male, roughly 11 to 13 years old.
Okay.
While the exact cause of death was unable to be determined, it is extremely likely that it was due to the anomalous effects that SCP-4595 produces, but more on those in a moment.
Yeah.
Further examination of the woodshed reveals that the word witch has been scrawled on the door with charcoal, though it is
Right.
unknown who wrote the message and whether it is meant to serve as a warning or has some other purpose. It is highly likely, though, that the word is referring to the final element of SCP-4595,
Which
the
is?
body that is buried
That
beneath
was
the
a punch.
woodshed's dirt floor. Ground-penetrating imaging tools were brought in to investigate the shed, and
Mhm.
researchers discovered that underneath one portion of the floor that appears to have been scorched at some point, a body is buried
Yeah.
roughly 1 meter beneath the surface, which has since been designated as
So it is the
SCP-4595-A.
A.
Scans have revealed the body to be a humanoid figure, vaguely feminine in appearance. Its
Mhm.
limbs are twisted in a painful and unnatural manner.
Ew.
There are several large wounds present on its face, chest, and neck.
Wow.
But perhaps strangest of all is that despite evidence at the site pointing to the location not having been disturbed for many years, the corpse buried beneath does not seem to show any signs at
No
all of
decomposition.
still appearing as it most likely did at the time it was interred in the ground.
Interesting.
You are most likely asking yourself why the SCP Foundation has relied solely on subterranean imaging in order to assess the state of
Yeah.
SCP-4595-A,
Because if you dig it up,
and why
it's
they
dangerous.
don't simply dig up the anomalous corpse.
Right.
The reason why they haven't is due to the anomalous effects present at the site.
Okay.
Testing on SCP-4595 has concluded that anyone who enters the shed and remains there for any substantial amount of time will begin to experience a number of effects.
Okay.
First, they will start to feel paranoid, getting the
Right.
impression that someone is watching them.
Uh-huh.
This purely mental effect is quickly followed by a physical one, where the individual's
Itching?
skin will start to itch. Those who linger in SCP-4595 long enough will eventually begin to violently scratch at themselves in an attempt to relieve the itchiness.
Gosh.
These effects, while very uncomfortable, will eventually subside if they leave the location,
Huh.
and it is very likely that they are meant to serve as a warning of what will happen if one partakes in the
Uh-huh.
most dangerous aspect of SCP-4595.
Kind of like the way demons
which is
smell
disturbing the
bad.
body buried
Like
beneath it.
evil stinks.
Anyone who attempts to impact SCP-4595
It's your body trying to tell you something's
by
wrong,
attempting to
to
dig it up
leave, you know,
or
to get away
otherwise
from
remove
it.
it from the location will quickly experience a horrendous anomalous effect.
Yeah.
The individual will soon find that they are experiencing a shortness of breath, and soon will begin coughing and choking and be unable to breathe at all.
So why
This is
not
due to
like
a phenomenon in which any empty space
Oh.
in their chest cavity, lungs,
It just
airways, stomach, and
builds.
intestines will completely fill with
So why not just like a remote control excavator, right?
Locust.
Just
Insects
it's
will
like
continue
an
to appear within
automated
the
deal.
individual's body until they expire.
Just dig it
a
up with
process
an
that typically
excavator
takes
bucket,
mere
man.
minutes. Any locusts that manage to
Come
escape
on,
the
Foundation,
individual's
y'all can do
body,
better.
most often through the mouth and nose, will disappear into a vapor that quickly dissipates the moment they cross the threshold of the woodshed's doorway. So far, no method has been determined that can prevent any of SCP-4595's effects, and for the time being, no personnel are allowed to enter the anomalous shed except for testing purposes.
Of course,
Even in those
D-Class.
cases, the disturbance of SCP-4595-A is not allowed. Due to the relative ease with which the Foundation can secure the site and is able to prevent anyone from entering, it has been classified as safe, with the additional disruption class of dark and the risk class of warning.
I like how they put more of the
Is the
classifications in now.
SCP-4595-A body a victim, doomed to an eternity beneath this ramshackle shed?
Because
Or
safe
it a
is
monster
just the
sealed away
containment
for
class,
some
right?
unknown purpose, the only warning for us to stay away being a single word on the
Meaning
door.
it's not safe to,
Maybe
to
one
do
day
anything
we'll
to.
finally know the answer to why
Just easy to
SCP-4595
contain it.
is only known as the Witch. Now
This
go and
was
watch
very,
another
very
entry from the
interesting.
files of Dr.
I liked
Bob,
it.
like SCP-3998, The Wicker Witch Lives, for another
You
SCP
going in the
entry
witch
that tells
hut,
the tale
Doc
of a
Bob?
witch, though maybe not the story that you'd expect. And make sure you subscribe and
he's
turn
got
on
Tickle Monster
notifications
socks
so you don't
on.
miss a single
Oh,
anomaly
and you
as we
put a
delve
little
further
rose
and
on
further into the SCP Foundation's classified archives.
I like it, guys. I like it. This was interesting. Nothing like I thought it was going to be Halloween or a Salem witch. Maybe it does have something to do with like a tortured soul that died wrongfully, maybe got buried alive by some of those dreams that that boy was having, for instance. Those are some examples of maybe how she died, you know. Just they say when spirits come back, it's because they were put to rest in, well, they weren't put to rest, they died in a horrifying way or whatever, and they're seeking vengeance or whatever. Maybe that's the case, I don't know. But this was really good, guys. Make sure to subscribe to Dr. Bob. Subscribe to me if you like reaction videos too. Thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Zueljin signing off. We'll see you next time.